Hello plant friends, today is a great day because we are looking at some plants. It is April, it is the beginning of the growing season, and I am prepped to go. All the plants have kind of woken up and are showing signs of life, and so it's going to be really exciting to have a look at what's happened so far and what's the start of the growing season is looking like, and then in a couple of months we will update to see, you know, how it's gone. Before we get into the tour, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my subscribers. You are the best. You are so wonderful. Thank you so much for subscribing. It means the world to me. And if you do want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And please leave a comment. I really like hearing from you guys. It makes my day. So without further ado, let's get into the plant tour. I hope you enjoy it. I'll start off with my philodendron mame, or silver cloud philodendron, and as you can see, it's just so beautiful. It's also made me super happy because it's given me this new leaf here, which hasn't hardened off yet, and so it looks like it actually might end up being as big, if not maybe a little bit bigger, than the other large one here. I really love this plant. It was in quarantine last time I did a plant tour, so I didn't show it at that point because it was going through some stuff, man. And I actually lost a leaf, if you can see here. It lost a leaf before it got this new one as well. So this has grown completely in my conditions, this new leaf, and it's still really massive, so that's made me really happy. And just underneath that you can see there's some Maranta leuconura propagations, the red vein variety, so I've got those going. I'm not sure if the mother plant's going to make it, man, but well, we'll see. But there's like 5 propagations in there and they root super duper easily, so if you want to ever propagate your Maranta, propagate it in water, no troubles. You will definitely get roots very quickly from that. And up next is my beautiful Monstera constellation, which is stunning, but you know, I've had it since September, and it's not given me a leaf. That stem has actually been pregnant with leaf for that entire time, so you know, it could have had an actual baby in that time. I don't know if it's gestating like an elephant for 18 months, who knows, but it's taken a long ass time to give me a leaf, and I'm getting impatient, but it is still just beautiful. Now next up here is my pink dragon alocasia, and you might be able to see that it's actually flowering for me. It's given me a flower, so that's just come out. I actually thought it was going to be a leaf for a while. Now I don't know if it wanted to do this since last year, because in October last year it actually gave me like the beginnings of a growth that I thought was going to be a new leaf, and then it didn't do anything for absolutely months and months and months, and then started very slowly growing this little green nub, even more slowly than like normally, and it is probably one of my slowest growers, like bar the Thai constellation of course. But it turned out that it was a flower, and I'm really excited about that, because having an alocasia flower for me in my home, I didn't expect that to happen. Now this was on my last plant tour as like a full grown adult. However, it was like slowly dying. I just couldn't water it enough. So I ended up having to actually propagate it. This one propagates so easily. You should absolutely do it. I've just put it in some sphagnum moss and it just shot up all of these leaves, and it's doing really well. I think it does probably need it to be a little bit more humid actually. I might put a humidity dome or something over it. But it is doing much better. It shot out all this growth. I've, to be fair, found this one to be one of the more tricky plants. This is not a beginner gardener plant at all. Next to that you can see here is my Maranta lemon lime propagations. They're doing really, really well. Again, root super easily and water. That's the way forward with lemon lime Maranta. I guarantee you, like no other way. Don't put it in soil, that won't root for you as well. You're much more likely to lose your cutting that way. They just do so well with water propagation. This is my gorgeous philodendron gloriosum, which has literally just gifted me this new leaf, which is, as you can see, like much smaller than the others. I know it's new, then it's not hardened off, and so it's not its kind of full size as yet, and it will expand. But this one is actually, you know, much smaller. It's never going to get to the size of the other ones, I don't think. I would be so surprised if it did. I'm not sure what's happened there. Maybe it just didn't like the kind of less sun, but maybe now we're getting more sun. I will have to obviously repot it now because it's reached the edge of the pot, being a crawler as it is. Underneath here you can see my micans, which is trailing down nicely. I am really appreciating this baby. You know, I've said this before, but I do believe that philodendron micans should be in everybody's collection. It's just kind of easy and beautiful and delicate and velvety. So yes, there you have it. And here you have Jagger, who's my Alocasia lauterbacchiana, or purple sword alocasia, and I absolutely love him. He's putting in the work like you wouldn't believe. He's given me so much new growth. If you actually have a look, he's given me those 2 new leaves, and I love the way that the sort of chlorophyll bleeds into this. It's like so they come in quite bright green, as you can see here with this like brand new leaf that's just come out. They come in bright green, or well, I say bright green, but brighter than the dark green behind it, and then the dark chlorophyll kind of bleeds in through the veining, and it looks like this wonderful marbled effect. So here is my baby Monstera deliciosa, and this is another one that has been pregnant with leaf for far too long and hasn't given me anything. So I thought, then I saw this little piece of growth here. So, I mean, it's for sure going to not come out with any fenestrations, but I'm happy that it's growing. Then we've got here my beautiful Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, which is once again doing a lot of work. It is really getting going. It's almost reached the top there. Giving me so many new leaves, and there's kind of so much at the bottom as well happening. There's sort of like loads of new stuff that came out of the soil, so I'm going to have far too much Rhaphidophora. I'll be giving it away to a lot of friends, basically. I did just recently give some to somebody. I feel good when I give Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, because of course it grows so well, and it's like the #1 plant to jungify your house in like 0 seconds. It's so good. Now we're moving on to plants on planks, and as you can see here, there's my marble queen pothos, and you can see here she's growing up here. She knows that there's something there to climb on. There's kind of lots of new growth near the bottom here that's coming out, and so I've got no kind of worries about that, but she knows what to do. Once she gets a bit stronger and bigger, she will start clinging on, because she is a pothos, so for sure she's going to know what to do, right? They just know. Moving up here is my philodendron painted lady. I'm getting my yellow plants that I coveted so much, but this one's excellent because it's got these fuchsia stems and petioles, which is pretty epic. I'm not sure it's going to adhere to the plank quite as well as I suspect the pothos will, but we'll do an update on my plants on planks, I guess. But I mean, it's a beautiful plant, and I'm just looking forward to watching it get bigger and bigger and bigger because it's so colourful. I mean, it just looks like some sunshine and summer, and it's exactly what I want to see expand. So this is my philodendron brantianum, and this is a funny one because I had it on bamboo and it was sizing up its leaves as it grew, and then I put it on a plank because I wanted to get those humongous leaves. I saw these leaves that were kind of like the length of an arm, really long silver ones vining up, and I was like, I must have this. This is important. So I put it on a plank, having seen good results with people putting plants on planks, and they've actually got kind of progressively smaller. That being said, it does know that there's something there. It's like actively clinging. I'm not sticking it up there at all. It's actively clinging. It knows that there's a plank there and something for it to lean onto. I don't know, maybe it just needs to get used to it, and then at the top I'll sort of propagate the top sort of few nodes and then start it again or something. But I am pretty determined. I think it will work. I think it's just basically didn't really understand the change, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated on that. I'm not giving up as yet. Next here is my philodendron melanochrysum, And I've actually chopped off the higher leaves because basically I had knocked off kind of 2 of the leaves anyway, and it was looking a bit leggy. The last leaf to come out was kind of sizing up, but I needed a haircut and it needed to start the summer properly so that it could size up as it wanted to. That's what we've got going on there. And again, it's on a plank. I'll let you know how that goes. By the way, these planks actually are wall cladding. You can get them at B&Q, and I'm assuming any old kind of big box store would do this, but you can get them at B&Q for £5 for 5 planks, which is a bargain. And if they all work nicely and grow nicely, I know they don't look that great now, but once the plants really start adhering and sticking onto them, it doesn't really matter that it's not a moss pole, because moss poles are really expensive. And this is a gorgeous beauty. It is my Alocasia Regal Shield. How cool is that? Sadly, it got broken. This is fairly new and it got broken in delivery, and that really gutted me essentially. But yeah, I mean, how cool is that? This is a hybrid of the Alocasia Odora and the Alocasia Black Magic, and you can kind of see this. It's not really velvety, it's more like silky, but it's strange, it's so thick, but it's got all the patterning, as you can see, of an Alocasia Black Magic, but with these huge leaves and this sort of deep veining. So they grow massive, they look amazing, and I'm really excited to have this. So yeah, and it's actually, again, got a new leaf. As you can see there's a new leaf coming out. And there's my Alocasia Zabrina looking absolutely amazing in the corner there. I'm gonna have to move this, I'm gonna have to say, because it's kind of chasing the light and it's becoming a bit lopsided, which, to be fair, I knew would happen placing it where it is, but I think I need to rearrange the entire plant room to give it space, essentially. As you can see here, we've got this new leaf here which hasn't properly hardened off, and I think it's going to be bigger than the leaf before it because it's roughly the same size at the moment, and it's got way more growing to do. And right behind it there's another leaf as well that's coming out, and it was growing all winter. It gave me like leaves over winter, so it's just giving me so much growth. I think alocasias are something that I weirdly do quite well, because they've not really stopped growing for me all winter, and they've given me flowers, and they just basically do kind of quite well. I don't know why that is. However, this one's kind of got a gnat problem, and I do want to move it to pon. I have to say, it is gonna be going into pon, so whether it sort of throws a hissy fit when that happens, who knows. And living underneath all of those at the moment is my beautiful Spathiphyllum Domino. It gets actually a lot of light here. I know people say peace lilies are low light plants. I disagree, really. I think they can kind of survive in low light, but this one just gives me so many leaves, so much growth, and I always keep it in really good light, and the variegation is wonderful. Although this does have stable variegation, so it's always going to give you some form of variegation, but maybe not quite as much. But I do think it's lovely. It has flowered for me. It's given me a couple of flowers over the winter. It hasn't flowered in a couple of months though. But it doesn't really matter, because even when it's not flowering, it's such an unusual plant. Yeah, I do love it. There's always something ready to come out. It's always giving me new leaves. And so, yeah, very happy with that. Right, over here we've got my Hoyas, and they are kind of doing okay. There's not a huge amount of update on them. The Crimson Queen has started to grow from beneath there. I really like this one, actually. I thought I'd like the Crimson Princess better, but this one is basically working very, very hard. This one's got lots of like marginal variegation and like kind of a stripe in the middle of it as well, which is great. My Crimson Princess has actually kind of reverted here, and I don't really know what to do about that with Hoyas. Do I chop it back? What's the deal? I'm assuming that I just chop it back to the last point that there was active variegation. So if somebody knows specifically what I should do in relation to a Hoya Crimson Princess that is reverting, that would be really good if you could put that in the comments below, because yeah, I don't want to really muck it up, and Hoyas aren't really like my forte. And next, my Hoya Australis Lisa doing very well, absolutely loving life, giving me those beautiful leaves. And I mean, it's a little bit more slow growing than the Crimson Queen, but I mean, it's very nice. I do like it. Next here we have my beautiful reverting Birkin. As you can see, it's given me yet another white leaf that is leading in with chlorophyll. That's one there. But yet also here, oh, that's got stuck. Maybe I need to turn the humidity up. Stuck leaf. Oops. But yeah, another red one coming out there. So joyous days. My reverting Birkin is looking pretty glorious and happy, and yeah, I'm probably going to put him into a bit more prime real estate shortly as well. And next to that is just my Hoya Sunrise, which is yeah, just doing its thing. It's still really little. What do people think about moving Hoyas to pon? Is that like a good idea? What do people think about that? And here we have Peperomia Corner. Now, I know that two of these are not Peperomia, but they are Pilea peperomioides, and peperomioides means peperomia-like. So they're with my other Peperomia, which is my Peperomia argyrius, and that is just looking lovely. Now, I'm going to do a specific video on this because when I got this, it came with these humongous leaves that were all juiced up in the nursery, and they were really fat, but they blocked all the light so that the new leaves that were coming out all got trapped and like they got ripped on these stems, which isn't a problem. Trust me, I've got plans for that. However, it is something that needs to be addressed. So when you get these beautiful sort of peperomias with these massive ginormous leaves, it does cause problems, and they also don't really sustain themselves very well. As you can see, this one's turning yellow. But not to worry, because I actually have tremendous success with leaf propagation, even through ones that are actually turning yellow. So I'll probably chop that shortly after this video. My Pilea obviously has woken up. It didn't like the winter very much. That's what all these marks are around here. But now that it's summer, now that it's getting good light, it's happy days. This is a baby that I propagated from it. As you can see though, there's like got lots of little babies around the pot at the moment as well, because yeah, that's just what they do. They have millions and millions and millions of babies. And then you can give them all to your friends, which is why it's called the Friendship. So this is a project that I'm extremely excited about because I got a bunch of alocasia babies and some corms that I have grown, and now I've got a kind of little nursery of alocasias. I mean, clearly I can't have this many alocasias in my home, but it will be fun to grow them really. And then of course I can give them to friends. I will be keeping some. I know the ones that I will be keeping already. Actually, that might change. So anyway, let's see. I've got the Alocasia Cuprea Red Secret. Look at that shine. It's also called the Mirror Alocasia. This is the Alocasia Silver Dragon baby. This here is the Alocasia Dragon Scale baby. This here is a Alocasia Stingray and an Alocasia Lutea or Lutea Golden. So these, as it grows, these go bright yellow. The stems and the veining goes bright yellow and these stay bright green, and it gets really big. And then this is the Alocasia Portadora, and I think the Golden Lutea actually grows as big as the Portadora does as well. But yeah, I've wanted a Portadora for an extremely long time. Some of them I will grow and experiment with and then gift to others. But I always think, you know, if you come across the chance to get a little baby plant, then it's cool because you can learn a little bit more about gardening, and you can learn a bit more about, you know, growing things out and the different needs and requirements they have. And here we have my Peperomia propagations. They're usually in these like bags, but I'm just taking them out to show you for a second. I would say that the sphagnum moss has been the most successful one. I did do them in soil as well, but I mean, yeah, I just don't think that they have been as successful because they were all done at the same time, and this one's just so much stronger and so much more, yeah, robust. So for me, I would say, given the way that I parent cuttings and propagations, sphagnum moss all the way. Up here we have my Philodendron Brazil propagation, so they are going nice and strong. I've got some like nodes in a prop box downstairs as well because it was throwing out runners in the winter. And yeah, but it's going to be great, doing well. Now this I'm very excited by. These are both Epipremnum pinnatum albo variegata. Yeah, I got 2 cuttings of them and they rooted and grew and then started throwing out white leaf after white leaf after white leaf, and then eventually the original leaf that it came with died completely, and I just had like these nodes that were giving me white leaves, and so I just put them in sphagnum moss, spagged and bagged them, and then they started giving me leaves, so then I actually put them in this and now they're doing really well. And this one's got another leaf coming out, which is hella gonna tear. I'm gonna have to help that one out a little bit later. It has actually been in quite high humidity, so I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, well I'll help it out a little bit later, which I know plants just like love it when you do that. I was given a dying Cebu blue pothos, and it was really huge, but it was totally dying, and so I again propagated this. All of this is rooted really well, and it's now in sphagnum moss, rooted, and yeah, just doing its thing. Naturally, because you know it is an epipremnum, it does root quite easily. Rooting epipremnums is like never the problem, is it? And these are some Monstera standleyana cuttings. I did some in water and some in sphagnum because I just didn't really know what to do. They had some nodes, some leafless nodes, which have all gone in spag because I did do a leafless node with sphagnum last year, and this is what it gave me. So this is grown, but it took a really long time to do. But I thought if I do this in sphagnum and this in water, I mean, I've got to say Monstera standleyana is probably one of the slowest plants to root that I have experienced. So interested on other people's take on that. I even put rooting hormone on this one as well, so I don't know, it's not really doing like anything, as you can see, and it has been in there for nearly 2 months. So this is my Maranta lemon lime, which, as you saw, I propagated some of them upstairs. A lot of the leaves actually turned yellow. It was growing quite long, but I needed to propagate it anyway because it was basically just like one stem and all growing from that. So I've done that. I'm going to transfer everything into pon, and then hopefully it'll be happy having steady water, and I'll keep it in a nice warm humid place and make sure I'm much more controlled with the temperature. Here we have my Alocasia amazonica poly. He's doing pretty well and loving life. And what have we got? We've got that new leaf there that's just come out. So yeah, happy with that. Waking up. This is my Calathea fasciata or fasciata. I'm not sure how you say it. But it's a lot like the Orbifolia, except it's much darker, as you can see, and it's got these sort of purpley reddy backs. So I'm looking forward to seeing that get nice and big. It's currently in this kind of semi-hydro mix by Soil Ninja, which is kind of like pon, but coarser. And it has kind of adjusted now, so hopefully I'll see some growth now that it's, you know, stop throwing a hissy fit about it. In the front here we've got my I got a baby Prince of Orange. This came free when I bought this bad boy, and that's good because he kind of been on my list of plants that I was interested in for a very long time, but he never took sort of precedence. So the fact that it's been given to me and come into my life means that I get to have it, and I'm very happy about that. Now, how cool does this cauldron look with my begonia? It's like absolutely epic, isn't it? It's starting to get sort of flush backs and like being a bit more mature and behaved. I gave it some nice new soil. I am going to keep this one in soil. It seems happy in soil, but yeah, it's I think I can keep this in here for a very long time because they don't really like being up potted that often. They don't have very big root systems, so arguably I might actually have to down pot it at some point, but at the moment we're seeing how it goes in here. But yeah, the pot and the begonia, they look fantastic. This is my beloved Syngonium Neon Robusta, and yeah, I just love having it next to me while I'm working away. It makes me very, very happy. Here's a prayer plant I think everybody can handle. It actually is the most tolerant of all of the prayer plants as far as I have had experience with, and like prayer plants are not my strong suit, so calatheas, marantas, they're not like something I do particularly well. But this one has given me no troubles, no dramas. It just keeps on popping out new leaves. I've transferred it and it didn't sulk too much either. And it's just got this beautiful colouring. I love it. The pink backs, this. So I would say this is definitely my easiest of the Marantaceae family, and I would recommend it to kind of anyone. Up here on the shelf we've got my golden pothos, who's fine. I've just been twirling him round and round and round and rooting him in the pot, and so now I'm just like starting to let him grow, and yeah, he's loving life. I've got this blue star fern which seems to be doing really well as well, and that's great. I love it. I love watching this one grow because I just think it's got the most interesting growth pattern. This is my Scindapsus pictus argyrias, and that's just doing the absolute best. I love this one so much. I'm not hugely wonderful at Scindapsus, if I'm totally honest. I just find them too slow growing and I don't have the patience. I just think it looks so fun and weird and interesting. Here is my beloved Calathea orbifolia. I love this one so much. I don't think it's doing particularly the bestest in my care. I still have to find the best spot for it and work out a few things. I haven't mastered its care at the moment. I think it's a little bit more temperamental than I thought it was going to be. But I mean, it's looking all right. A little bit sparse. I had to chop off a couple of leaves, but it's looking all right. And then up here is my Philodendron Florida Ghost, which isn't super ghostly at the moment, but looks pretty good. And I don't really mind. I was hoping that the darker green leaf would mean that it would have more chlorophyll and it would grow a bit faster, because I'm finding it to be quite slow growing. Again, this is one I think I just need to work out a little bit more. This is my corner for plants I have no idea about and have to work out. Okay, turning you around now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this plant tour. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more. Cheerio.